Welcome back to Pick 6 Athletics. Today we're going to look at how to score punt return touchdowns by setting up your blocks. Punt return is your time to shine. It's a free opportunity to get the ball in your hands and show off your skills to make a big play. We're going to look at the 6 steps and tips for returning a punt for a touchdown. So number 1 is read the punter. Watch film on him. See how far he could kick and how his body language changes based off the way he is kicking. If you see him looking one way or tilting his body to the left, what's that mean about the kick? If you don't have film on him, start off a little further back for the first couple punts in the game, and then just get a feel for how he kicks the ball. So the number 2 tip is to catch the ball in the air. Now if you're in Canada, this is going to increase the likeliness of them getting a no yards call because, as you know, you got the 5-yard halo. Defenders might be in it, other than that throws a flag, gets them 15 yards. But either way, when you catch a ball in the air, you catch it with momentum moving forwards, and you put yourself in control. Now, the ball won't have an opportunity to go and bounce over your head if you catch it in the air, and also, the kicking team, they won't have enough time to react to you. By catching the ball in the air, you're putting yourself in the best position to make a big play. Now, the next thing you do is read the kicking team before you catch the ball. By reading the gunners before and after the kick, you'll get a good feeling of where the ball is going to go and how to set up your blocks. As you're tracking the ball to catch it, what you want to do is take 2 to 3 peeks at the gunners or players in front of you and develop a quick plan of where to go. So you see the ball in the air, every once in a while just take a quick peek, see if this guy's running at you here, what move you're going to make to avoid him, and just where all the pressure's coming from to know how you're going to eventually return the ball. Now this next tip is the biggest one. What you want to do is run away from the return side to set up blocks. If you want to just run forwards or to the opposite side, it's between you and your coach to figure out. But you go forwards to the other side, and then eventually you'll get to the side you're returning to. The main point is to run away from the return to start. So you might be thinking why that is. And the reason this is because, say you want to return the ball to the left, as you know we can see in this clip right here, that means that your defenders are going to have to be blocking the other team to the right and seal them in this way. So what you do by running to the right first, and this is just really helps your team out. So what you do, make the first guy miss, take some steps to the right. What you do is lure these guys in to the trap you're setting up. So defender right over here. One sec. Defender right over here. Defender right over here. Because you took steps this way, that draws them in and puts your players here in a better position to block them and seal them in. Now we take a step back or step forwards. Just looking at different points of this clip, you could see if the returner ran straight to the outside and bounced it off, then the kicking team, this looks like the long snapper based off his terrible swag, then the kicking team could have just came outside and made the tackle. But by running in, away from the return, you put your team in the best position to set up the blocks and open up that big space for you. Another important thing to note quick is that what you want to do is make the first man miss and also follow your blocks later on. So it's kind of 2 tips in 1, but the big part here, make the first man miss. Now if you're playing football in the States, it's 11 on 11. In Canada, it's probably 12 on 12, which means that every man is accounted for in the blocking scheme, except for probably one player, because you're not blocking anyone. So if you make the first man miss, and you make him your responsibility to get around, that takes him out of the scheme, and it lets one of your other players block somebody else, and it just puts you in a great position to make a big return. Football is a game of numbers, it's a game of inches, all that, but when you have numbers on your side, it makes it hard to lose. Then one more tip for later in the return, after you made the first guy miss, after you found the ball in the air, you read everything, read the kicker, watch film on them. After all that, when you're further down the field and you set up your blocks, followed your blockers, what you want to do is not go to the sideline right away. Because if you run right on the sideline, that means that he only has to worry about tackling you one way. But if you stay a few yards away from the sideline, you could either bounce it out or bounce it back in. And if you have speed, bouncing it out, you're going to beat him every time. If he has an angle, then you just want the option here. Because punters, let's be real, they're terrible tacklers, but if you give them leverage, then they could easily just follow you in the angle and make a tackle. But if you're further away from the sideline, then you could bounce it either way. They don't really have the option there. So as a bonus tip, make sure you understand the rules for your league. If you catch the ball out of bounds, if you wait to pick it up, can the kicker recover the ball himself? Talk with your coach and talk with the ref to clarify the rules, and then use them to your advantage. But there you have it from start to finish, how to return a punt for a touchdown. I'll just go over it quickly once again. Number 1, read the punter. Know where to line up, how far, which way he's probably going to kick the ball. Catch the ball in the air, and before you do that, take a few peeks at the returning team. Know where to set up your blocks and where the ball's going, where the pressure's coming from, all of that. And then when you catch the ball, make the first guy miss, so numbers are on your side. And then run away from the return to help set up your blocks, lure them in to your trap, and then bounce it out. And once you're in open space, follow blocks, let your talents do the work, make some moves, stay away from the sideline so you could cut it either way, and then go, keep running, and score. Again, punt returns are one of the biggest ways to stand out as a recruit or just help your team win and get some big plays. So whatever way you can score, football comes down to the team with the most points. If you can help your team on defense, offense, whatever it is, don't forget about specials, and make sure to send this video to your returners to put your team in the best chance to keep winning games. Now, most athletes I know are really good at returning naturally, but they have trouble catching the ball. So make sure you watch this video to learn how to catch a punt every time, and you can even learn how to catch 5 of them at once.